Vrabel sat down with Felger at the owners' meetings today.
Good get.
And you will hear it coming up on Felger and Mazz later this afternoon.
I think it's 3 o'clock hour they're going to play.
How about that?
That's great. I mean, I just love the way Vrabel sounds. Like, do I look like that when I coach? No. I never worked for him. But, like, there is something there between these two. Like, there's so much respect between Vrabel and Belichick. Like, and I've told you this, like, we'd play Houston or we'd play wherever the hell Mike was in Tennessee, and Bill would just stop the buses because he'd be out there 45 minutes talking with Vrabel. But, like, Mike wants you to know I didn't coach for him. I didn't come from that lineage. He used the word lineage.
Well, I think Vrabel's point is, why do I have to get tagged with being Bill's guy?
He's his own guy.
Well, I didn't learn how to coach from him. I learned things as a player. I didn't work for him. I worked for a bunch of other people. I didn't work for him.
It's a good answer.
Why do I have to be a Bill guy? I'm making my own mark.
But I know where he is. He knows where I am. Do you think the phone number is still the same in the office? Or do they change that?
I have no idea.
I bet they change it.
Why don't you call and find out?
I'm not calling.
I know you got the number in your phone. Why don't you make it?
I don't have his direct line.
Why don't you call?
I don't have his
call the desk.
He's down there anyway in Florida.
The head coaching desk. Oh, you can see who's on the voicemail if they changed it over yet. Hi, you've reached the voicemail of Mike Vrabel, head coach, New England Patriots.
See,
please leave a message after the beep. Thanks.
Gerard tried to do so many things opposite of Bill, right? Like, you're tearing down the silos and doing this, and we're going to do things different. And maybe it was too much at first.
What caught your ear about all that talk of left tackles, though, this morning from Vrabel?
And I heard some other clips, and we'll play them too. And maybe we should before we comment on it.
This is the one that Caden Wallace is going to get a shot at left tackle?
Caden Wallace from Penn State is going to get a shot at left tackle. Like, that's the first name out of his mouth. Caden's going to be there at the left side. We got Vidarian coming back. He had some surgery, had some things cleaned up. So that tells you right there he's behind the 8 ball. We're looking at Will Campbell. That's what I take from it. Like, Will, and I think the SEC thing, I think Mike elaborated with that. Like, played a lot of snaps at left tackle against SEC competition. Now, some good, some bad. Like, we've heard about the bad, too. So he has no, like, that was a good question about, like, do you have any more answers as to, like, what the vision's going to be in the top 3 ahead of you? And he doesn't. Like, I don't. Like, you don't know what they're going to do with the quarterbacks. You know, Giants, what are they going to do? What's Cleveland going to do? My question to Mike would be like, okay, if you're 4 now, if you're number 1, who would you take?
If I was 1?
Do you think they stick and pick and just go Abdul Carter at 1?
It sounds like Cam Ward's going 1.
No, I'm saying if New England held on and maintained the number 1 pick.
Oh, I would go Travis
Hunter. Lost
Hunter.
that game.
Yeah.
You'd go Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
It's Vrabel. He'd go defense. If it's his team, his stamp. I think a lot of things change from 1 to 4. A lot of people say, it's still a good pick at 4. It's not the same as being 1. You can take anybody you want at 1. You could trade back. I don't think they'd trade a pick. I think they'd stick and pick somebody because it's exciting to get the number 1 pick. It is.
Okay, well, they've got 4, and he's talking about the possibility of moving it. That to me doesn't sound like they're married to Will Campbell when I hear him talk about this morning.
Yeah, because I don't think he's
talking
number
about
4 pick.
Caden Wallace at left tackle and Vidarian Lowe competing at left tackle. And
we have some guys there.
Granted, we've got Caden Wallace preseason tape of left tackle play last year, and it wasn't pretty.
Mm-hmm. T-Bone, what game was that where who was I ripping on the right side? I think I was ripping DeMontre Jacobs.
DeMontre Jacobs, and he wasn't.
Yeah, and you're like, no, that's Caden Wallace in at right tackle when he got nailed on his ass. He got knocked on his ass about 2 straight plays. And I went back, oh my God, it was Caden Wallace. My bad. So you're flipping from right to left. Whew. I thought that's hard to do. Then why not just get Membu? If you're going to flip right side guys to left and it's going to be that simple, get Membu. He's probably the best tackle in the draft, but he's just not a left guy. I'm with you, though. Like, if they don't think Campbell's worthy of the 4th pick, we're open for business. We'll move back a little bit.
I'm not open for business. They are.
They are. I think they are open for business. I think there's a possibility they trade the pick.
For what purpose, though?
Because you're sitting there with a quarterback. The other 2 guys are off the board.
Where are you going in this draft if you're trading back?
I'll slide back maybe to 2, maybe to 7. Maybe to 6 or 7.
Okay.
Slide back 2 spots.
And who are you taking there?
Then maybe you take Will Campbell there. I think he'll be available there.
So trading back just for the sake of...
So They got to have a scenario where Travis Hunter's off the board and Abdul Carter's off the board, and there's two quarterbacks bang bang there. Or say Cam Ward goes first, and the other two guys, non-quarterbacks, go 2-3. We're not taking a quarterback. Who wants a quarterback? Call the Raiders. Call the Giants again.
Does it make it worth it if you're taking Will Campbell at 6 as opposed to 4?
It feels better. It does.
Because you slide back.
What are you getting?
You slide back, you get the player that everybody said you're going to take at 4. You get him at 6, and you probably get another player, another pick.
But are you excited about it, or do you just feel like, this is going to look better if he's a bust?
You've been excited about a tackle?
6.
When's the last time you were excited about drafting a tackle?
I mean,
This year.
I agree with that.
I
yeah.
really don't think he's going to be a total bust and that he won't be an NFL player.
I know
He's too
like
big,
a cornerstone left tackle where you're like, that's our guy for the next decade.
I don't think that's what he is. I don't think that's what he'll end up being.
But that's what he should be at 6. Even if you slide back to 6, the expectation there should be that guy is going to be our left tackle for the next decade.
This draft sucks so bad. It's such a crappy
They know
draft.
it too.
And they do.
And free agency sucked, and they know it. They just went through free agency. Everybody that's good signed back with their team. They were going to be free agents. T. Higgins, boom. Godwin, boom.
Half the Super Bowl champion defensive line was out there, and they got one of them. What are you talking about?
No, I'm saying just in general, like free agency overall, like what your needs were. Like we didn't think like they were going to go get Milton Williams. I never thought that. I thought it was like receiver and corner. They did get a good corner. They paid him too. I guess so.
Yeah, but no tackles came off them.
See, it's tackle. Yeah. Like you got to protect Drake May, and you got to get him weapons. And you got Diggs at the end of free agency, pretty much.
Dan is in Boston today. What's up, Dan?
Yeah, so now that you guys are talking about Diggs, like now that it's official, what do you guys think about trading Joe Milton in a third for Diggs' brother? So
get another corner?
So they can so basically like the McCourty twins, they can motivate each other, hold each other accountable. And if best case scenario, we get Hunter, right? So we have Hunter and Diggs for nickels, Davis and Gonzalez out wide, and then Hunter won't be so tired he can play receiver in the third, fourth quarter and still have enough gas. I don't know. What you got?
So all of a
Trayvon
sudden,
Diggs is going to come here and play nickel?
all of a sudden, 10 years into his career, he needs the motivation of having his brother with him.
Yeah, no.
They're not the McCourtys.
And the McCourtys didn't need that either.
There were rumors or speculation of Diggs getting moved. He had knee surgery. He missed the last couple of months of the season.
Yeah.
But he had an injury guarantee that kicked in like 2 weeks ago, and people thought he might get moved before that happened, but it's happened. Yeah. He's still there.
He ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think he's on the market.
Yeah. Then you're cutting the guy's hurt and you get the injury settlement. Yeah. So then you're not paying the big bonus or whatever when that kicks in. Yeah. Nope.
Let's get to more from Mike Vrabel today. He did talk about Travis Hunter position-wise and what he believes should happen with this player, because he was asked, of course, about the question. Is he a corner? Is he a receiver? How do you feel about that, Mike Vrabel?
We've never seen a player, necessarily do it. I think that there are some things that he can improve on by, probably concentrating on more than just on one position, but never going to put any restrictions on Travis or any player. We try to, as much as they can handle, that we're going to continue to put more on their plate. And so if he were on our football team and he showed a great skill at one position and was starting to really do well in his conditioning, and it didn't fall off and it didn't drop, we would be open to playing everybody that we had at more than one position. Anything that would help the football team, I would be all in favor of.
Does he have to have a primary, though, a primary position?
Well, I think to improve, I think there has to be a primary focus. Just to be able to get some of the details that are going to be required at this league. So, we'll see, once everybody's on our football team, where they end up playing or where they end up starting out and practicing.
If I could summarize everything he said about the two guys we've discussed the most with that fourth pick, Will Campbell, Travis Hunter, they desperately want Travis Hunter to fall to them at 4. They love the guy. They would let him play both ways. He would pick one side of the ball to focus on with the details. I'm guessing that's receiver. They'd also play him in packages on defense. They want this guy.
He's the best athlete on the board.
So they are not as eager to draft Will Campbell as many people have speculated and assumed, and they are eager to have Travis Hunter fall to them. You can hear it. You can hear it the way he talks about the player. You get to left tackle, they're throwing Caden Wallace's name at you today. You get to Travis Hunter.
That
Let
jumped
him
me.
play both ways.
That stood out to me.
Got to have a
today.
primary, but you get, wow.
It's the biggest thing that stood out to me today. Caden Wallace, left tackle. He's going to get a shot there.
And the Patriots have so much draft capital. If they like that guy that much, they should be moving up in this draft to get the kid. I said that early on. I'm like, what prevents the Patriots from being one of those teams that moves around up top? They're well positioned for it. They should consider it if they like the player that much. They should be open to business, for business. That business being moving up a spot or two.
Yeah.
So Hunter, Carter, and Campbell have been in for visits. Like they didn't bring the quarterbacks in for visits, obviously. You got your quarterback. It's gonna come down to like when you first meet the kid and you spend some time with him, like what's your gut tell you? Vrabel's good at, I think, sensing that. And if you could just tell this kid, like Hunter comes in, lights the room up, and you could just tell he's got it. And you're watching it on film. Does he sit there with McDaniels, watch the film, and Josh talks about route running? The route's good enough. Or his feet good enough? Because I think Mike could watch the defense alone and watch that and say, yeah, this kid can play corner. Great break speed. Look at his shift in his hips. Look at the way he covers. Just shadows a guy. Like he could sense that, but like. I think when you're on your trip there, like you could tell whether or not this is going to be the guy. And you just hope he's there when you take it. He's the best athlete on the board.